There's only a couple guys in the whole world that make me love pro wrestling, and you're one of them.
You know, all the bad shit you've heard about us, it's all true. But another thing that's true is we love professional wrestling, and that's why we're here. I'm not sports entertainment anymore. Talk to him, kid. This is a new beginning, and it starts tonight.
A new day is dawning for DX.
You know who you're talking to?
Hey there, X-Pac 12360 fans. We are going to have some fun today, breaking down the week's hottest pro wrestling news headlines. Plus, we have special guest Rob Van Dam joining us today. I'm Christy Olsen. We got producer Jimbo Frank on the couch, and we are here with the one and only, the man, the legend, Mr. Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Hello,
Hey, Sean.
Hello, Christy, Jimbo.
What up?
Mark in the booth. It's great to be here. Had to rush over here from Maria's earlier, doing the Sirius show.
Yeah, you're like a podcast extraordinaire now,
Oh,
right?
well, that's Sirius Radio, Sirius XM 209.
And you're serious, SERIOUS, about
Yes.
this.
Oh, snap.
We had we interviewed Bruce Campbell today from Ash.
Oh, man.
Ash of the
I would
Evil
have loved
Dead.
to ask him about Briscoe County Jr. Did you guys
It
ever
was
watch
just,
that?
well, there's only an hour to do the show.
Oh, yeah. So it was like all Evil Dead stuff, probably.
A lot of it. A lot of it was, but there was some other cool stuff we talked about as well. But anyways.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to branch off so quick
Well,
into
that's
the
all right. I
weeds
know
there.
you're excited about that. And you've talked to Anne Heche recently on
Yeah,
Maria's
Anne
show
Heche
too, right?
the other day, yeah.
Wow. See, you're doing it big time.
And her audience gets, I get exposed to her audience, which is a little bit different demographic than
Right.
ours. So,
Maybe slightly.
Yeah, so that's nice. They get
Just a tad.
to know that I'm not just a complete heathen. I actually having a brain.
Should we second that here for you? Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
back
you're
that
not
up.
a heathen
You
at all.
better say that.
You're one of the best guys I've ever met, for
you.
sure.
Well, although I'm wondering if there was any heathen behavior that went down this last weekend at Ozfest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
Always, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't get into the details, but well, a few details.
Because you get to go backstage at these big shows, right? You know all these
Yeah.
guys, you know, like Slipknot, Disturbed. Who
Yeah.
was all there? I know you love Amon Amarth.
I
right?
don't. I just met those guys.
How
and
were they?
A lot of our people probably don't even know who they are, but
They're a Viking metal band,
Yeah.
and you were really feeling them, right?
yeah, they were great. They were great. And I'm not just a metalhead. I like hip hop and everything. Old,
You just like music, right?
Damn right. Good music is good music, and there was a lot of good music this weekend.
Well,
It was
yeah.
great.
Who else did you run into there?
All the Slipknot guys, and they're big wrestling fans.
Corey
Obviously, yeah. Slayer, the guys from Slayer. Got to see Zach Wilde, who I haven't seen since from Black Label Society, and he was Ozzy's guitar player for a long time. And I haven't seen him since we did WSX on MTV.
Oh, wow.
He was the
he
first
one of
episode.
he was like, the band would play, and then they'd go sit and do
Yeah.
commentary for the show.
And Zach, and so the band would play, and then like the front man would do color commentary.
Yeah, with Brett and Chris Kloss,
Chris
right?
Kloss,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, my buddy Chris Kloss.
Yeah, so
Where was
Chris was really good.
Ozfest?
It was out in San Bernardino and some,
At the NOS Event Center?
I
or
guess,
at the
but it was just an
Warren show?
outdoor
It was like a giant-
amphitheater. There was 50,000 people a day there.
Wow. It was,
So it was a dust
multiple
bowl,
days?
though.
Like a
2
3
days.
Oh,
it was
2
not
days.
Fest meets Ozfest.
Oh,
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Wow, that's intense, man.
yeah. Disturbed. Dave Gervain from Disturbed. I don't know.
Oh, I
if
saw
you
the
have
picture on your Twitter.
Did you see the video of the? His cover of Sound of Silence.
Oh, yeah?
Simon and Garfunkel is one of the best covers of any song I've ever
I
heard done.
think we have that video, Mark. Can we roll that?
That's a shot from stage left there, looking out into the crowd of 50,000 people. Yeah.
That's amazing. Does it ever do you ever get over the fact that you're standing backstage watching this happen? From behind the band instead of out there with the rest of the
Trust
fans?
me, I don't take it for granted.
No?
At all. But, at the same time, I like to go sit in the crowd and watch the show
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
and not see like all the backstage drama that's going on with production and different things that I'm not going to get into on the air. But you
I'm
know,
just going to say, well, that's what we want to hear about, Sean.
The stuff that people don't, the stuff that people don't see, and they just see a great show.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but I do want to ask you what was going on backstage. Because you were hanging out with some of the guys, right?
Yeah.
Are they chilling? Are they stressed out? Is there like some drinking and partying going on?
There's a little of both. I mean, and I'm not the drinker, so.
Right.
You know what the thing is though is it's turned into such big business and so it is a little bit more stressful than just like an average concert situation.
Well, yeah, because you have so many giant bands.
Yes.
Who are used to being the headliners of all their own shows. So now you have to deal with like.
And their guest
guy,
lists
like that guy.
and their production people and all the clashes that'll go on between all the different bands, crews, and the big egos.
I wanted Pepsi Zero.
Right.
You know, like this is Diet Pepsi. You know, like this is not what I wanted.
I always think about those people whose job it is to like satisfy the rider and go out and find all that stuff and make sure that it's backstage.
Yeah. I mean, it was to the point where everybody was so on edge and the security was trying to keep the stage on lockdown so much. Kelly Osbourne got yelled at by one of the security guys. I don't know if he even lasted the rest of the night.
Wow.
After that. Actually, you know what? She was pretty cool about it. Like, because I heard her going off about it in the production office, and she didn't ask for the guy's head or anything like that on a platter. She was just like, pissed off, and I don't blame her.
Situations like that are so crazy because like he's just trying to do his job, but like you should know.
Here's the thing, though.
Who is like, and you got to always treat people with like respect of like you never know. Like next week they could be your boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And they're not breathing any special air that makes them any better or less than you. So you just got to treat people like people, man.
And that's what happens sometimes with some security, outfits. You have to deal with the public, even if you're trying to be stern with them. You have to do it with class. Mm-hmm. Like a WWE security, no matter what, they stay classy the whole time.
They're like Ron Burgundy out there.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Can you imagine if they were like bouncing fans out of there or pushing people around? I mean, that would not go over very well.
Yeah, imagine like security at like a hardcore like punk rock show at a WWE event when like people get up and get too crazy, or like imagine a fan jumping the rail with like security like that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't leave the building.
Oh man, but it would make for some good viral videos.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh man.
Well, we actually have, talking about what you've been up to lately, we have a fan question. Now, we've been asking our fans to submit questions via Twitter, Instagram, our Facebook page, facebook.com/XPac12360 show. And you can post them on social media using hashtag XPac12360. So let's take a second and get to one of those. Jeremy wanted to know from you, Sean, if you were to compete in WWE again, who would you want to face?
Ooh. And you know what? And you ran this by me earlier, and I started thinking about it, and then I was like, "Oh Jesus, how do you even answer that?"
I know who I'd want you to face.
But see, I want to, and I worked with Randy Orton already, but he was a lot. He was brand new to wrestling. He was still really green. I'd love to work with Randy Orton at this stage in his career. And I know some people are going, I'm expecting you to say Finn Balor or Kevin Owen or, one of those guys. And and obviously that would be great. But I mean, if you ask me to be honest.
Well, there's so much talk about former WWE stars and legends coming back and taking on the role of sort of putting over the new guys.
Yes.
Would that be something that you'd be okay with?
Of course.
Yeah?
I didn't have it, contrary to popular belief, I didn't have a problem putting guys over my whole career. I mean, there might have been the occasional thing where it just wasn't right, and so I stuck to my guns on it. But as a general rule, when you need to put somebody over, it's usually for a good reason. Mm-hmm. And I'm a team player. And I think it's great. You got guys like Jericho coming back, and that's what we need to do. It's the law of the jungle. The young guys need to put us out of our misery because we're not just going to go away on our own.
Oh, well, on that note, I would like to remind all of our fans that if they want to see you every single week and make sure they never miss an episode of X-Pac 12360, you have got to check us out on iTunes. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. We'd love 5 stars. Let us know what you think about the show. And if you use a podcast app and you can't find us on it, please help us submit to that app. It is super easy. They can just copy our RSS feed, which is available in the description box, and then contact the app support email. That's easy to find as well. Tweet me. I'll help you if you need it. And thanks in advance. We want to make sure that we are available to all of you all the time. And rate, comment, and subscribe to us on iTunes.
I would have said Nakamura.
I was thinking that
pick,
just now.
Sure.
I was actually thinking that just now as you were going through all that, which you did a fantastic job of,
Well,
by
no,
the way.
the point of it is really to just give you guys a moment to think. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have been like Nakamura for sure.
But I'm also thinking about how I would feel after that match.
Oh, man.
And I think I would feel a little bit better after a Randy Orton match. So there you go with that one.
Well, speaking of the current guys on the roster, let's head into this week's X-Pac 12360 News of the Week.
And now it's time for X-Pac 360's News of the Week.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. We are starting off with a story that I feel personally invested in, and I think you will as well, Sean. The Academy School of Professional Wrestling is set to open in the Twin Cities of Minnesota on November 1st, 2016. That's right. Minnesota is finally going to once again become a mecca of professional wrestling. We all know some of the biggest guys ever have come out of that territory. Jesse the Body Ventura, the Road Warriors, some guy named Sean X-Pac Waltman. Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I feel like I've heard of Brock Lesnar. Christy Olsen came out of Minnesota. No, I'm just kidding.
She sure did.
She's a shining star.
That's right. That's right. Well, this is being put on by former WWE and TNA superstars and champions Ken Anderson. You guys might know him as Mr. Kennedy. And Sean DeVary, the Sheik Abdul Bashir. They are really trying to make Minnesota the scene once again. And they have also brought to the Academy former WWE Women's Champion Molly Holly.
Oh, wow.
They didn't tell me that part.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been wondering what she's been up to too. You guys may remember her from WWE, WCW, and she did a stint in New Japan as well.
She did a table for 3 recently.
Ken
Yes.
and Sean and you guys are great and will be fantastic teachers. But like the best part of this, like for me, is having Molly Holly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she's great.
She was...
I mean, they're all 3 great.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love
I'm
to
just
hear
a
that.
huge fan of hers. One of my favorite female wrestlers ever.
Why is that, Sean?
Oh, she's from Malenko Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's from the same.
Well, we'll have to see if we can get her on the show. That
same
would be
school as
great.
me.
Eric Cannon is going to be there as well teaching. He's from Ring of Honor and PGW. And this is the exciting news for anybody out there who's listening to this right now going, I want to become one of these famous Minnesota wrestlers. They're running right now a first class special. $3,000 tuition is down to only $1,000, available through October 31st. Check it out at theacademyprowrestling.com.
Is that like a year tuition for
As
a
long
grand?
as so Ken and
Yes.
Sean,
Oh, wow, that's
I'll
really
give you
good.
my endorsement as long as you promise not to say to all of your upcoming students that they can be the next Sean Waltman.
I was going to ask. You gotta tell
That Eddie
Chrissy.
Sharkey.
You gotta tell Chrissy that story.
That's what
about-
Eddie Sharkey, bless his heart. That's what he would tell everybody. Austin Aries, Sean DeVary. That's why Sean DeVary's
DeVary's-
named Sean DeVary.
Really?
Yes. Because he was going to be the next Sean Waltman.
Yeah, his real name is Dara Davari.
Dara, yeah.
And he's still using it, still working well for him.
It is.
Wow, I love that. Well, you know what? I hope that you and I can take a visit to the Academy School of Professional Wrestling.
I'll
sometime
definitely
soon.
be stopping by. Because my children live there still.
Right.
Christy and my children both have the same area code.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, on their phone.
I know Eric
yeah.
Cannon has a promotion in Minnesota that usually runs at First Avenue
Yep.
that Prince owns.
Well,
So-
Prince didn't own it, but that's where Purple Rain was filmed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
his spot.
Owned
I
that.
wrestled Jerry Lynn there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh man.
If you didn't see it, it was like the best match ever. If you did see it, it was pretty good.
Everyone's Googling their fingers off right now
Seriously.
trying to find video footage. Well, there is another match that everybody is talking about today. That would be Seth Rollins at Clash of Champions. Headline here, big backstage update on the severity of Seth Rollins' injured rib. Now, this happened in the match on Sunday at Clash of Champions in the main event when Owens hit a gut buster off the top rope onto Rollins midway through the match. Seth did finish out the rest of the match. Of course he did. He's Seth Rollins. But apparently when he got backstage, he had some difficulty breathing. And reportedly, he's fortunate that he did not crack or break a rib. This is really just some slight tissue damage.
Oh, he'll be fine.
He will be fine. He actually appeared on Raw last night. He didn't participate in anything physical. He's not medically cleared, but he definitely came out and acted like he was going to.
Here's the thing. Undertaker had cracked ribs, and I know this is a different time, and we don't do this anymore, thankfully, but he made it through. I want to say he never took any time off when he had his cracked ribs. He just wore a flak jacket. He had the cracked ribs, and I've told this story before. He had the cracked ribs and a crushed orbital socket at the same time. So he had a flak jacket on under his Undertaker suit, and he had the Phantom of the Opera mask that he was wearing for a little bit to cover up and protect his face.
Yeah.
Because we needed him. Did I not tell a similar
talked about
story?
that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
That's my Scott Hall. Repeat the same story over and over again.
Was that when he was wrestling like King Mabel?
Yeah.
When he had all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Well, as far as Seth is concerned, this is going to be kind of a week-to-week thing. Hell in a Cell doesn't happen until October 30th, so he's probably fine. And the original plan for Hell in a Cell main event was to feature Finn Balor, Owens, and Jericho. So Rollins was essentially replacing Finn, and now he is dealing with these injuries as well. Of course, the big payoff here is to finally lead up to a match between Seth Rollins and Triple H, so he'll be fine for that. They're looking for that at WrestleMania, and he did get a standing ovation from the crowd, and they were chanting his name as he left the arena for Clash of Champions. Today he tweeted that he will be in LA for Raw next week. So Seth Rollins is not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
And moving on to a little update from last week. We talked about TNA and what's going on there. This offers another dimension to that story. According to Dave Meltzer, WWE is kind of kicking around the idea of signing Matt Hardy once his TNA contract expires in spring of 2017. That relates to WWE because it sounds like TNA is really scrambling to get the finances together for their pay-per-view this coming Sunday and are really, really trying to secure a deal, as we talked about last week. Billy Corgan is trying to buy in. And what Matt has to do with this is that WWE has really peaked his popularity over there at TNA. They want to capitalize on it. Matt's been at TNA since 2014, but he's making more waves as a singles performer than ever before. Now, it's unlikely that Matt would have as much creative license in WWE as he does in TNA. And
Unlikely?
he reportedly, well, he reportedly is, he's loaded with ideas for his character. So that may be a point of contention for him, but he would need some TV time to get him over. And
I don't mean to jump in and interrupt you there, but they think, they as in WWE, thinks everybody's going to need maybe a lot of TV time there before they're over. And they thought that with AJ Styles, they didn't think he was going to get the reaction at the Royal Rumble that he got.
Yeah.
And they had like certain plans for him ahead of time that changed completely, I think, after, he got such a huge reaction at the Rumble. So we'll see. I mean, listen, Matt Hardy started his career in the WWE. No matter what he's done lately, the majority of it was in WWE. And now he's reinvented himself and doing just an amazing job. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, it's so effing out there. I mean, like that final deletion thing.
It really is pure entertainment.
It's just phenomenal.
It's like, what's going to happen? What is he going to think of next? Like,
and the kangaroo.
The kangaroo.
Are you kidding me?
The Vanguard one, like the drone that has his face pop out, and it's just so crazy.
So here's the thing: if Matt's doing just fine without being there, and they want him bad enough, maybe he'll say, "Yeah, I'll come in, but I got to have some say-so over at least reasonable creative control." Reasonable. That was what Bret Hart had in his contract. Because you're not getting like WCW creative control put in your contract with WWE. It's never going to happen. But
well, a little speculation from the reporters too on this story.
Reasonable creative input.
Oh.
Control is not written in there anyway.
That's the fancy McMahon way of putting it, huh?
That's that
I like
loophole.
that. Well, remember, you guys, the Dudley Boys left WWE after being back for just 1 year with the company. So people are looking at that deal and going, maybe the Hardy Boys together could do something like that, have one last run at the WWE for a year. We were talking about this a little bit before we went on the air, and the big speculation is that everyone's saying, well, WWE would just buy TNA, keep the tape library, and shut it down. That's kind of the general consensus. You didn't seem to agree with that.
I don't think so, because they have the network, and there are some people out there that that are fond of TNA, and there are some people out there that were fond of TNA and maybe want to be fond again. I just don't think that. I think they'll utilize the brand and maybe rehabilitate the brand. Yeah.
I would like that.
Imagine TNA at Full Sail instead of at Universal Studios.
When you just said that, it made me excited. I was like, ooh.
Like how different it would be and how much WWE's look could change TNA. And I think with like Matt Hardy getting over and time and TV time to get over, as soon as their music hits, fans are going to lose their shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's like an iconic music. Like, people are going to know. And to see Matt
How's
Hardy...
it go again?
You know how it goes.
No, I don't.
But like seeing them come out and hear their music, fans are gonna lose it. Like it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't even have to be like, oh, they're here for a year. It could be like, oh, they're gonna do shows up until the pay-per-view and then they're gone. But fans are gonna be tuned in and want to see them for sure.
Yeah, they will.
Well, we will keep you all posted on that. And now moving on to two guys with long storied careers, but who have never actually been in TNA. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler last night on SmackDown ended up challenging one another to a title versus career match at SmackDown's No Mercy pay-per-view. So essentially, Dolph Ziggler is putting his career on the line. He's saying if he loses this match, it will be his final time in the ring with WWE. And this was a great segment last night on SmackDown. Dolph's parents were there. Miz's parents were there. The moms kind of got involved, pointing and shouting. And it really, Dolph Ziggler had tears in his eyes when he was kind of making this pact to give up his career for this title. And this goes along with, that's the story. Those are the facts, people. The rumors here are that Dolph Ziggler's contract is up at the end of October and that he actually is considering leaving. There are reports that he possibly is looking at going to Ring of Honor or, working the indie scene. He also has a great desire to pursue a comedic career as a stand-up comedian and movie star. Yeah, so what do you think about all this? It's sure, to me, I take it as maybe it's all up in the air right now and they don't know what's going to happen, but they've laid out this match just in case he goes.
Well, what do I think about which part?
All of it. Give us the scoop, Sean. Give us the insight.
It's not really the scoop, but because I haven't heard any of these rumors about about Dolph leaving. I will say this, just the same as I said with Cody Rhodes, if that's whatever path you need to take to make you happy. Maybe, and here's the thing too. When you're thinking about leaving and okay, your contract is up, sometimes you have an automatic rollover on your contract, and if you don't give 90-day notice that you're thinking about leaving, like your contract will just roll over.
Oh.
So maybe he gave us notice. I don't know. Like this is all speculation.
It is absolutely all speculation, and speculation that I hope is not true. I do like Dolph Ziggler, and I think that while he doesn't maybe always get booked the way that his fans would like him to, he still has been doing some great stuff the last couple months with these title shots that he's been getting, and with Ambrose, and now with The Miz, and what The Miz is doing with the Intercontinental title too, just making it important. Dolph Ziggler and The Miz are the Intercontinental title to me. So either way, I think this is going to be good, but I hope it's not the last time we see him.
Me too.
I have a question. So, like, when your contract is up and it's done, do you still have, like, that 90-day clause of you can't wrestle anywhere else? Or, like, when your contract is done, it's done. The next day you can go show up on wherever you want?
When it's done, it's done.
Okay.
When you stop getting paid, there's really, even if you have a no-compete clause, like, I mean, it really doesn't hold up if you're not getting paid anymore.
Yeah, because I know when, like, Sammy left, they were like, we'll pay you, but you can't wrestle anywhere for, like, 90 days. And he's like, that's not going to work. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just terminate you, and you can do your thing. And he was like, cool. And the next night, he was on another wrestling show. And I was wondering, with this whole thing with, oh, man, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Continue. Maybe it'll come back to me.
Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, the title.
Dolph Ziggler doing this thing, like I think it'll, like with the brand split, that's where I was going. With the brand split, if now's the time to push Ziggler, it's now. You know, like he has a show, he could like move up the ranks. So I don't know, if I was him, I might like buy my time a little bit longer. Or if he's really like straw that broke the camel's back, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to leave. And then do what Cody Rhodes is doing and just like be killing it on the indies and get everyone talking and everyone tweeting and everyone wanting to know about you, so that like WWF or WWE is like, man, we shouldn't have let him go. As soon as we can get him back, we want him back. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely keep you all posted on that. This has been your X-Pac 12360 news for the week. I'm Christy Olson, your managing editor and chief correspondent of AfterBuzz TV's Pro Wrestling News Division. We will be right back with Rob Van Dam. But first, a word from Conversations with Maria Menounos, which we were just talking about. You can check Sean out on Conversations with Maria.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here. We want to let you know about my new show on SiriusXM Stars Channel 109. It's called Conversations with Maria, and it's live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to conversationswithmaria.com for more info. Buzz you later.
Welcome back. Joining us now, this guy was just a laid-back martial artist from Battle Creek, Michigan, who went on to score 21 titles, including a record-setting 700-day reign as the ECW World Television Champion. And he is the only man ever to announce that he would cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase and then go on to actually win the title. Please welcome to X-Pac 12360, Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you guys make me feel so welcome.
You are very welcome.
I feel so welcome. I'm going to make myself at home. Guys, get out of here. Grab me a beer. What's on TV?
How you doing, man?
Excellent. Hey. Excellent, dude. This is your show?
Yeah, it is. And it's fun. This is, what, the 5th episode now?
Yes, we're rolling.
Obviously, we had a little issue with getting started on time, because I'm still new at this.
No worries. No worries. No one even knows that.
Well, they do now. I haven't seen you since you know, the China Memorial. What's been going on since then?
The Giant Memorial.
The China Memorial, not
I'm
not
sorry.
vagina.
Yeah, okay. Because I was picturing seeing you up in Philly at Atomic shows in April, but this was since then, huh? Yeah. So yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Thanks for having me on your show. Congrats. I enjoy sharing insight and speaking when it's non-scripted, straight from the heart. So I always look forward, and people are usually surprised at how candid I am and how genuine I am. But if you know me, that's one of my outstanding qualities, and one that I respect myself. So that's what I want people to know me as being genuine, the realest dude in wrestling history.
You are.
Someone said, although they used the N-word instead of dude, but they made it sound cool, but I don't want to repeat that. But, you know, the realest trigger in wrestling history. That's what it said. It was a tweet. It hit me in the heart. Anyway, yeah, dude, so I saw you there. I haven't seen you a lot, and I don't see you a lot. You know, a couple times a year we run into each other here and there. But you said something in a text about, like, the last couple of times you saw me, you were concerned or worried. What did that mean?
Oh, come on.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, if you want to talk about it, man.
Well,
anyway, I'm doing much
here's
better. The thing. So, like, I went through a trying beginning of the year. Had some shit happen, and we can swear on here, right?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, Rob.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because it just flows off the end of my tongue. But anyway, but you know, some stuff that I didn't expect. I'm learning about life, and that's really That's really what I'm doing and focusing, and that's one of my priorities is just growing, learning how to grow as a better person, as a spirit, and that's something that I've really been into since I left WWE back in 2007, because I got so burnt out on the monotonous schedule and just the monotony of the job, the agenda of the job, and I got so burnt out I couldn't even relate to the fans. I would say, I'd look at the building in the arena before the show. I'd be looking through the curtains. I'd say, what the fuck are the 8,000 people doing here? Watching the same idiots in the same four-sided ring, when they could be at home watching it anyway, and it's like, why do they love it so much? And I got to where I needed to walk away, but I was so burnt out, I've never recovered from that. So I can't, at this point in my life, there's no way I'm going to go back to that kind of a full-time, nonstop schedule. Yeah. And I did feel like it was killing me. And it's not for everybody, but I mean, there was a law. I got burnt out probably 2001. 2002 for sure, and then stayed on that schedule for like another 5 years. So when I got out, I kind of felt like. So
you came in the door in WWE burned out, because I mean it was 2002. I remember you coming in.
I came in 2001, and you were there. And I mean, looking back at it, I was. So, I mean, I was, even though I've been wrestling a long time, looking back at it from where I'm at now, I look at myself as almost being green, because I'd already, like I said, wrestled in Japan and ECW, WCW, all that. But people don't realize that nobody puts you on that grind like they do, but also no one puts you out there into the universe like they do either. Right. It makes you a household commodity or part of the culture of a country you never even thought you'd ever go to or never even heard of. And it's like WWE is a machine. And anyway, when I look at it, when I first came in, I kind of look at it, I think back like I was a kid. That's how I feel. But coming out of it, finally, I kind of felt like, hey, I survived the war. Didn't know if I was going to. And so I still don't plan on going in full time. I mean, I have a deal now with them, just like Jericho, where I can do short-term deals. I did a 3-month deal, and still did 66 matches in like 90 days. But ouch. And then the traveling, right? So then the next time I went back, spread it out a little more. I was doing mostly just TVs, and that was like over 5 months. But it was like 80 matches,
and the thing is, anyway, Rob, a lot of the people.
Yeah, I don't want to go back. I mean, me and Jericho have like the same deal, but I don't have the ambition that he does. He likes being there a lot more. I really like not being on the road, and a lot of celebrities are afraid of being out of sight, out of mind. I'm the complete opposite. I've always been trying to do as little as possible, and I'm getting better at it all the time.
Well, it was rumored that they were talking to a lot of former WWE stars to come back with this brand split that happened a few months ago. Did they reach out to you at all?
No, I haven't heard from them since it's almost been a year, actually. It was last October when we talked, and it really wasn't a good time for me to go out on the road. I had like personal stuff that I was going through, but there's always a dollar amount that makes it worthwhile. You know what I mean? So, but the amount that would have made it worth it for me to go out and work wouldn't have been worth it for them and what they were thinking, and so that just didn't work out, which was good, because I really wasn't wanting to do it then. And anyway, also I might have scared them away with the numbers that I would have taken to make it worth my while. But so no, I really haven't even talked to them. I was at WrestleMania, said hi to a bunch of people, but they seem to, and then for the most part, it's a pretty open relationship. So we can see other people.
Oh, that's great. Hey, but Rob, here's the thing, going back to the text that you got from me. Well, we saw each other at WrestleMania, and I could tell you were just like, I hate to use that cliche.
Did you see me this year at WrestleMania?
Yeah,
32 in Dallas?
Yes, and so I was just, you weren't the same. You weren't the same Rob that I was used to seeing, and then I saw you at the House of Hardcore, and again you weren't, and I knew, and I didn't want to pry, Rob. I figured if you wanted to talk about like what was going on with it, you would, but I could tell, that something was wrong. But I wasn't like so concerned as I was, because I knew you'd pull out of it. You're really super strong cat. I knew you'd pull out of it. I just hate seeing people that I really like going through shit, Rob. And it really bothered me because I knew, man, I could tell there was some serious pain going on there. So that's where I was, man. I knew I wasn't so much worried as I just was like really empathizing and feeling for you. So. Yeah, well, yeah, man, it's that will change somebody's vibrational output for sure, and people are gonna pick up on it. Yeah. But so people should know that I'm I'm in a really good positive place now. And that's what everybody says. Everybody that sees you right now says that you're really in a good spot and happy, and that makes me happy, man. Me happy. Well, good. I've always looked at life as a balance. You know what I mean? There's the yin and the yang, and I have a lot of positive, a lot of love, a lot of good in my life. And I feel like once in a while I got to pay the piper and go through some shit. Yes, exactly. I'm glad that you look at things like that, because that's how I look at them too, Rob. And it helps us so we're not sitting there, feeling sorry for ourselves. Why me? Why me? Pour me another drink. It's just, it's, and that's, if Rob, that's just the way he looks at shit. Yeah. Yeah. So. That's the way it is, though. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm very thankful and grateful for the life that I have, and when there's a real dark cloud over, I'm just like, I know the time will pass, and eventually it'll be bright again. But you gotta recover as soon as you can, or else it'll pile up on you. And when you're not ready for a second or third blow, boom, your life can kick you while you're down. But then it balances out. A lot of people they just focus on the negative, and they're going to see a lot more of that, and they're not really going to even see all of the good that they have in their life because they don't focus on it. They take it for granted. But really, every thought that you have, if you're thinking about bad shit, that is going to make you feel bad, and you are going to vibrate in a negative kind of way. It's going to put it out there, and it's going to bring more of that back to you. And so, most of my day, every day, with some exception, because sometimes I got to do a little bit of work, but for quite a while has been about trying to bring my spiritual vibration to its utmost highest frequency, and so that I can feel and be at my best and then be the most productive in every way. Does sitting on a couch with Action Bronson and Sabu watching Ancient Aliens help you with that? Yes, it did. That was very enlightening for Action Bronson.
How good was that barbecue? That barbecue looked so delicious on that episode.
Oh, it was, dude. The food was so good. Yeah, that was crazy. That was like the craziest thing we filmed. Like there was never like an action or a cut. Like we never like really knew like what we're doing. We're just hanging out. Like, and they must have filmed like 5 hours. We were there for at least 3, and then they just keep all the best moments. I had it figured out after a while. Sabu never did. He was still like, are they still filming?
Yeah, Bronson actually, Action Bronson actually told me that was like actually better that Sabu didn't get it.
Yeah.
So, because I was talking to him because I didn't know you guys had done it, and I'm like, hey, I already do all that anyways. I just sit on the couch with my dog when I'm at home and, watch Ancient Aliens and
down. He wanted us to have a match so bad. He tried so bad to milk us into it. We weren't putting him over for the longest time. We're like, oh, yeah, they just slammed somebody. And he was like, come on. He thought that, because people think that must be what we do when we're at home,
yes.
I must wear my wrestling outfit 24/7. Why wouldn't I?
Or like in the Wrestler movie, with Mickey Rourke when they're going through the aisle of the supermarket.
And he's just like elbows.
Hitting each other with metal cookie sheets and shit. We don't really do that. That was like the one thing in like about that movie that I'm like, we don't fucking do that.
Wait,
I did when I was 17.
Yeah, but not like once we actually know what's
started getting paid to wrestle.
Yeah.
You're not wearing an airbrush singlet right now.
Yeah, when I wanted to be a wrestler.
Hey, since we're already talking about Sabu, you know, when I first met Sabu, come on, let's hear it. Hey,
Sabu.
Show your shirt, Jimbo.
Jimbo here has his Sabu shirt on.
my Sabu shirt. Homicidal, suicidal, genocidal.
But when I first met Sabu, and like I worked with him in Minnesota, we had this match, and like, you know, it got a lot of press. He had already been telling me about you, and I'd seen stuff, you know, seen some video of you and all that. But like, you guys go back just almost to the beginning of your career, right?
Definitely to the beginning of my career, and yeah, that's going back. I remember because Sabu was my introduction to the business. You know, like I met him in December of '89. My first time I walked into the Sheik's ring, and I did a tryout, and then Sheik said, come back next week and bring me some money. And Sabu was in the ring with me then, and I was, I was 18 years old, just about to be 19, and prior to that, like I'd had some matches that were not professional, and you don't count those in your career, but when I was kickboxing as a teenager, I got into kickboxing because I wanted to be a wrestler, and so I found my way into this ring, and then that got me into kickboxing, and I was doing both. And we were paying our dues back then. We must have been 16 because we were driving. And we would haul the ring to a show. We would set the ring up, set chairs up. We would open the kickboxing show with like a choreographed wrestling match. Like we hadn't been trained, but we were athletic. So we were doing all kinds of flips and kicks, and it was a tag team match. The other three guys aren't, still doing it. But anyway, and then I would have a match, like a kickboxing match, and sometimes an impromptu match, because I was so hungry to learn and to fight and to challenge myself. And these shows were always at like either outdoor, like big party, like festival, like Battle of the Band things, or they were like in bars or whatever. So there'd always be somebody saying, "Let me get in the ring," and I'd be like, "Let me have him." But anyway, when I was 18, I met the Sheik and Sabu, and then in like '90, I was training and had like my first dozen matches, and I remember Sabu talking about the Lightning Kid and how cool he was.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because I mean, well, before I also want to ask you about Ron Slinker. How did that whole thing come up with Ron?
So in '91, we were wrestling for USWA, which, by the way, they just stopped doing the Dallas run, and you guys had Global on the out of Dallas on ESPN, and I guess you got it from USWA that week. Yeah. So my first week of USWA was their last week to do the Dallas run, and then I guess that was, I don't know if they had ESPN or whatever, and then GWF took over, and then that's where we first saw you on TV, at least myself. But anyway, Ron Slinker was there in USWA. He was just there to I guess see. He worked one show, but he was there, I guess, to visit his son, who was Tex Schlesinger. Yeah,
Dennis Knight. Yeah, Midian.
Yeah, so that was his son-in-law, and I think he was there on behalf of him, maybe, but he really took a liking to me, and he pulled me aside, and he was just like, "Yeah, kid, I think you're going to be a world champion someday." He said, "I might be wrong. I wasn't wrong about Ricky Steamboat. I wasn't wrong about Randy Savage, and I got the same feeling about you." And I was like, "Wow!" He was blowing my head up. And anyway, he gave me his number. Said he was going to be opening up a territory in Florida, where, again, your name was mentioned a lot down there. You were one of the stars that came from the area when I went down there. And he gave me the name in November of '91. He called me Rob Von Dam, and at that time, Sabu and the Sheik said, just get booked. Don't worry about having a name or a gimmick, you know. Just learn as much as you can. So she called me Polish Prince one night. Al Snow called me the Flying Tigers or the International Patriots. And sometimes I was Robbie V or Robbie Z or Rod Zat or a different player, my shoot last name. And it didn't matter to me. Rob Von Dam stuck.
Yeah, it did. I mean, some might argue, like, in some parts of the world, you're more famous than the Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, I'm sure you. But I mean, I doubt it. I don't see it that way at all. I do. I think he's a much bigger star that reached, you know, much higher in the entertainment universe. That's how I see it. I mean, I'm a fan of his, and I was inspired by his movies very much when I was a kid. And so, you know, but you know, you could probably, just like statistics do, you could take any certain perspective. Well, who's got more action figures?
You're right.
You know, but the point is, the guy has made, you know, millions of dollars in top, you know, box office sales, and you know, he has a lifestyle. I don't know if you saw that reality show, but I mean, you know, he's you know, when he gets booked for a gig, it's like a private jet that flies him to Tokyo to open up a nightclub, and he's got these hot models, you know, all surrounding him and wanting a piece of him, and it's like, that's a little different than us doing a signing at Pop and Son flea market.
Frank and Sons.
Frank and Son, thank you.
But I'm sure,
thank you.
I'm sure
whatever.
You guys are like synonymous together, that like fans that like go up and talk to him probably ask about you and if you're related, and like see the similarities between the two of you. Like, I'm sure he gets as much of like, hey, you know about this Rob Van Dam guy, and like, how do you feel about him, and like, why is this guy taking your name, or like, are you guys really related? Like you guys do look alike, and you do a lot of cool like similar stuff. Like, so I'm sure he gets talked about you from fans as much as like you might of him, if that makes sense.
Well, who knows? But my mom one time, you know, and I get asked a lot if we're related, but one time someone asked my mom, you know, does that mean that you're related to Jean-Claude too? And she said, no, they're not related. That's not really his last name. And the lady got mad at my mom. Well, then why the hell do they look so much alike? Got mad at my mom. Now, by the way, Jean-Claude's real last name is Varenberg. He took the name Van Damme from an entertainer that inspired him.
That's
wow!
I didn't even know that.
I never knew that. That's crazy.
Cool. Have you ever met?
Dropping knowledge.
Have you ever met? Have you two ever met?
Yes, at Gold's Gym in Venice. I met him not that long ago, but he was kind of on the run, you know, like everyone was wanting a piece of him, and he was just working out on the machine next to me. So afterwards, I shook his hand. And I introduced myself as RVD, like I didn't, you know, I didn't just, but anyway, because I just didn't think, hey, I'm Rob Van Dam. He's got 10 years on me. I don't want to say, anyway, but the conversation went nowhere anyway. I shook his hand and tried to drop a name of a movie guy that we both know, and he was, while he was walking away, he looked at me, and he thought that he worked with me. He looked at me, and he goes, hey, I remember your face. And he walked away, and I thought it was funny that he saw my face and thought I looked familiar.
Maybe because it's somewhat like looking in the mirror.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
Yeah. But also, what I didn't know was that a friend of mine was, like, taking pictures while I was shaking his hand, like an asshole, taking pictures of the guy in the gym and kind of chasing him away, too. But I've seen him since then in there, and, you know, didn't go out of my way to talk to him. But, yeah, I see him. And prior to that, though, at one time we both did a signing at the Shrine Auditorium, and it wasn't such a good experience because I shouldn't even get into that, though.
No, you don't have to.
So I guess I just started it. Well, I'll try and tell it real quick. I did a signing. This was so long ago, like maybe 2000, something. I did a signing at Shrine Auditorium, like let's say 1 to 3. Jean-Claude's going to be there from 4 to 6. So after my signing was done, I'm walking around because I'm a fan of the genre, comic books, action figures, and then when he came in, my manager went up to his entourage because he was walking through, and he said, hey, you know, could we get a picture of him and Rob for the website or something? They said, oh, he doesn't have time. So, all right, whatever. So I was like, all right, we've tried, whatever. When I'm walking around, I saw up on stage, he was answering questions to a crowd in the auditorium, and at the same time taking pictures with a line of fans one at a time. And so I said, well, all right, shit, I'll just get in line and get a picture. That'd be cool. And I get in line, and all the fans got excited, and they're like, oh, and so they pushed me right up to the front of the line so that I'm like next, like I'm standing on stage. And Jean-Claude was talking, answering a question, and when he saw me, he like totally lost his train of thought. And he was just like, I was very lucky to have a father and he just saw me and like, and I just got like this like, if looks could kill, like I got these days, and he says something to his handler, and the guy goes, okay, no more pictures, this was the last one. And then and they're like, no, one more, and he's saying, no more. And then he's trying to answer the question, he's trying to talk, and they started going RVD, which was rattling him, and the guy came over and he dispersed the line, and that wasn't a very good experience. But that was my own experience, except for seeing him in a gym, and no hard feelings. Who knows what? I don't assume. It's one of the 4 agreements.
Maybe he knows you're friends with Chuck Zito.
There you go. Baby.
I figured it out, Rob. I figured it out.
I got nothing but respect for him, and you know, the wiser I get, the more I try to consciously, only exude positive energy. And usually when I look back at myself and I notice that I said something bad about someone, or I got angry or whatever, to me that feels like a fuck up. Like I feel like
shit.
Something I got to work on and tweak so I don't do it again.
There's a lot of things like I don't want to look back on that are on video of me saying some unflattering things about certain people, and it's just so like, not like you're talking about vibrations. It's not the vibration I want going through my body anymore, Rob.
Right. There's no good comes from it. Nothing. And it's unhealthy. You got to have spirit, mind, and body. You got to have it all in line and balance. And a lot of people don't know that, and they don't work on that. And I'm not going to say, hey, you have to change your life and do like I do. I'm just saying what I've discovered is that I have to have them all in balance. The body, I got the lifestyle, that keeps me in shape. I'm always working out. That's probably not going to change. The mental clarity and the spiritual are definitely places that a lot of people spend no time working on. Some on mental, if they whatever in whatever ways they do, but a lot of people live with a lot of stress. A lot of people hate their lives. They hate where they live. They hate who they live with, their family. They hate their jobs. They hate their car. They really, are miserable, and they've accepted that that's just their life. And it's
they're so used to it.
It's such an existence that I can't relate to.
Yeah, they're so used to it, Rob, that it's just normal to them. I don't even think they realize they're that miserable. And
I'm so used to everything being so wonderful that I have to consciously always connect with life and express my gratitude, because otherwise, I can take it for, you just boom. Right now, I'm looking at my view of the LA Harbor. I can see Long Beach. I can see downtown LA, all the way down the coast, Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa. Gorgeous day. I see the mountains. Gorgeous view. I'm way up on a hill. Like, that's something, just having the quality of life to just look and just see that out my big glass doors. That's something that if you wake up and you live with that every day, you can start taking it for granted. But even if you don't know it, you have a higher quality of life. You're healthier spiritually, and it's worth it.
And that's how I feel, like, just coming back out here. You like last night when we were going back and forth, you're like, are you out here now? I'm like, and yeah, I am, because, and I mean, besides doing this show, I just feel so much better out here, Rob. It's just, and especially now that I'm more strong-minded. I've been soberish for a long time now, and
congratulations.
Well, sober-ish, yeah, but so it's just, and it's a great place for me to be out here, and it's good to be close to people like you, Rob.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that. People who haven't been in California or spent, any time here, they really don't understand I mean, everybody else, by the way, I mean, anyone listening would be like, well, I can't have a, big house up on a hill looking at but I get that, and I'm not talking about that, I'm just saying I'm grateful, and there's so much good that I can't focus on the bad, and I'm just saying that people, you got to count your blessings. You got to lay out what you have, whether it's your health, your family, your kids. Look at your priorities, look at your values, and then get to know yourself. People don't even do that. But what was I talking about? Something about you, me.
Just spirituality and
honeycomb's good. Yeah. It's not small. No.
Oh God.
I'm pretty sure that's all we were leading up to, actually.
Yes.
So that's perfect.
So, something I wanted to know is Jerry Lynn definitely had a huge part in your career. You said, you wouldn't be where you're at without Jerry Lynn. And it's crazy to think, earlier in the career, you and Jerry had your battles, and then while you were doing your thing in, WCW and, WWE, ECW, Jerry Lynn and RVD were having battles, and it was, the new effing show versus the whole effing show. I just wanted to hear any stories you have with Jerry and Rob has with Jerry, and just the relationships with him.
Well, for me, I can get this part out of the way. Like you said, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't have done the things I was able to do if it weren't for my encounter with Jerry Lynn and him being part of my life. And the matches that we had, he's as good as anybody I've ever been in the ring with, technically, honestly. Jerry was I think he was too nice for the wrestling business. Honestly, Rob. I really do, man.
Yeah. Very, very, very nice dude, but, it's never, I mean, you can drive yourself crazy trying to figure out exactly why, one guy that has everything doesn't make it, and other guys that don't really seem to have very much make it, and all this. I mean, it's a business, and it's about marketing, and it's about whoever's in charge and how they see value based on their own values. And I mean, boom, there you go. Jerry was really good. All I knew about him when I met him was we had a mutual friend in Scotty Anton. And because of that, just like with when Lightning Kid was cool with Sabu, that meant that he was cool, that he was in the clique. Like Sabu introduced me to the wrestling world. He said, hey, these guys are assholes. Hey, these guys are the shits. Hey, this guy's really good and he's cool. Then I just took that as gospel back then. And anyway, and I knew that about the matches with Lightning Kid and JL, is that what it was?
Yeah, well, he was
Mr.
JL. He was JL in WCW.
And he had the mask, right?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was a terrible thing to do to anybody, what they did to him.
Yeah, so anyway, super nice guy. And when I met him, by the way, just for special story that I doubt anyone has fucking heard, because I don't remember telling this too many times. But when I met Jerry, I remember getting on the airplane, and this was back in the Value Jet days. Boy, did they suck. But they were always late, changing gates, all kinds of shit. But Jerry was sitting towards the front of the airplane, and I got on the airplane and shook his hand when I walked by. I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, Scotty says good things about you. He's like, yeah, you too. And
it sounds like him.
And I went back to the back of the airplane, wherever my seat was, and when we were up in elevation, Jerry thought that he would come back and hang out and talk to me for a few minutes. And when he came back there, I had eaten somas to planned on sleeping the flight, and so he sat beside me. And because I was trying to eat cereal and I was making a mess of it.
No.
I was,
I know the deal.
And
yeah.
so the very first time that I met Jerry, he was hand feeding me cereal with a spoon on an airplane.
That's what you have to do when somebody, because you were trying to go to sleep, but he came back, started talking to you, so you missed your window on going to sleep. So then you go through the soma, like the soma coma deal.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the soma would kick it in. I mean, the cereal would kick it in. You know what I mean? Like that sugar. And so anyway, I wrestled Jerry first time at ECW Arena, and Paul and Sabu both, you know, told me that they looked at it like it was going to just be a small, you know, a pretty quick match just to enhance me. And they didn't, you know, I think maybe I can get something out of this. They both thought, you know, 8 minutes would be plenty, if that. And I ended up, you know, thinking, you know, I don't know. I like this kid. He fed me cereal. And so when we wrestled the first time, we went like 20 minutes. I had a bloody nose. My outfit's ripped. My hair's pulled out of the ponytail. I'm pulling splinters out of my ass, and it was all dirty from the floor.
Yeah.
And then when I finally beat him, you know, then the crowd went nuts, and I needed that back then, that validation to call myself the whole fucking show.
Yes.
I had the freedom and the abilities to try my best to really try and have the best match every card and really do my part to try to make sure that all the fans got their money's worth and they were happy that they bought a ticket to see me. Like, you lose that freedom when you go other places, but I had that, and that was a big part of what I got out of it. And so I found out, you know, with Jerry, just from a freak matchup, we just had this chemistry where we really brought the most out of each other. So every time we wrestled, it seemed like we would outdo the last match, you know, like move for move. Like I would, it's last time, you know, I went for a leg sweep and he jumped it and went for a kick and I ducked it and kicked him. It's like he would remember that, and this time he would duck, you know, he would duck mine, we'd take it further, and boom, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had some amazing battles throughout ECW, and other battles you had in ECW were like Bam Bam Bigelow, just like the faster guy versus the bigger guy, and just the crazy things that you guys would do. I always remember in like the ECW intro video seeing you do like a flip dive from the top rope into the crowd. Was that on to Bam Bam?
Yeah, sure was. Yeah, there was only like 3 guys that I would dive from the top rope over the guardrail to and trust, you know, to be a good base, and that was Bam Bam Bigelow for sure, Balls Mahoney, and Bubba Ray Dudley. Those were the only guys that I would trust to catch me. And the other guys, like I would do like a helo to the floor inside the guardrail, and certain guys, like I would know for sure that they're not going to catch me. Like Lance Storm, every single time he would like he acted like he was gonna catch me, and then his arms would just kind of go limp, and he would just, if anything, maybe I'd bump his shoulder.
Yeah.
And me and Fonzie knew that. We talked about it. We were in New Orleans one time, and Lance was outside. I looked at Fonzie. We looked at each other and said, "Okay, watch this. Here we go." And I ran and I jumped and I cleared the top rope and I tucked and went down, barely touched him, slam on the hard floor. But I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was my risk, and so I was like, fuck you ain't gonna hurt me. I can take this every day. And I was always out to prove how tough I was. But yeah, that was on Bam Bam. Great, you know, great experience for me. I loved wrestling with him. He was so cool, and I knew that we were friends, but at the same time I also knew to expect a stiff receipt anytime, you know, that I caught him with something. I knew it was going to come right back, wham, and then everything was cool again. That's how he went, and I loved it. Yeah.
You're talking about Bam Bam still, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Bam.
Yeah, like sometimes, like even in that match, you know, like if it was something where I kick him and I know like the bottom of my boot like really caught him hard in the mouth, bam, I'll be like, oh shit, and then here comes a big clothesline, boom, take me out of my boot. And it was always like that, you know, not the personal. It's just that's what we call a receipt, and I often work that way myself.
Rob, we asked for some fan questions for you, actually, and at Jeff Burbage wanted us to ask you.
Okay, great. Why do the fans... Oh, I misunderstood.
Oh, thank you. I love that. Well, Jeff Burbage wanted to know, actually, us to ask you about taking unnecessary risks in the ring. And, you know, you're telling us you went for that dive even though you knew you weren't going to be caught by Lance. What do you think about the idea of this, quote-unquote, unnecessary risks?
Well, okay, so any risk, has its upside and its downside, and anybody that takes any risk weighs that out. When you cross the street, I mean, maybe you could get run over, or who knows, what could happen. Maybe lightning could strike you, whatever, but it's probably not going to happen, and, you really want to get to the other side of the street, so you do it. When you're an entertainer, you're looking to entertain, you know what I mean? I really want to pop the crowd. I want to show off. That is the one thing that I've always loved about my career, is I just want to show off. I always hated the storylines. I always hated when I had to do the promos, and especially because I got to push their agenda and try to, tell you that this championship match is more important than anything in the world to me. Come on. I mean, no, it's not. No, it's not. But anyway, I like getting in the ring and doing moves and showing off, and that feels real to me. That connection with the crowd, even when the office is trying to do stupid things with me or turn me heel and try to make it so fans don't like me. That connection, that real connection, the fans, saying, no, we dig what he's doing. That's what I dig about it. And so, most moves like that are a progression also. So they're not as of a risk as it might seem to somebody watching. I mean, yeah, there's no wires, and yeah, this is live action, and we're going for it for real and all that, but we are awesome. I mean, RVD is a superhero, and that's the way I see it. I first did, like I'm telling you, with Lance. I would run, and I would jump over the rope, and then I would know that I was going to eat shit, that my back was going to hit the floor, but also what's been most important to me, what I've really enjoyed out of my career, is showing how tough I am. I have some pretty fancy moves, my arsenal, gets it's flashy, and fans like to see the rolling thunder and the jumping spin kicks, but my real strength is my endurance, my durability. And that's why I've wrestled, over 25 years, and I've been almost injury-free, for the most part. I've had one surgery. But anyway, so for me, it's totally worth sometimes me taking this hard bump just to show that I'm not an egg that's going to crack. That's right. And that I'll keep doing this every night. And, if you're going to sidestep me or whatever reason it is that you're not catching me, if you're trying to teach me a lesson, fuck you. Anyway, but when it comes to that move, so I jump and I clear the rope, and then I do like what we call a helo. Next time in ECW, I set a chair up in the ring, and I ran and I jumped and I cleared the chair and the top rope. Next time I'm on TV there, I put 2 chairs, and I run and I jumped and I cleared 2 chairs and the rope, and then did the helo to the floor. So eventually the progression leads to where, I could jump off the top rope, and I could clear that guardrail, boom, my back can make it out to the 5th row. So it's not like I just start right out and say, there's a 50% chance I could survive this. I'm going to try it. Never. And to add to that, although I can still physically do everything that I've been able to do my whole career, like when I was 25 instead of 45, there is certain moves that I cut out a long time ago because they just weren't worth the risk. I hardly ever do a springboard where I jump right up and then bounce off the top rope. Plenty of people do it. Back when I used to do it, if I was one of the only ones to do it, then it was more worth it because it was more impressive. I would do the Van Terminator by doing a springboard right off the top rope. But the ECW ropes were tighter too, and they were cable.
That's right.
Now WWE ropes are actual rope, and the ring's bigger, and so the ropes aren't as tight. And just a chance that I might slip trying to do a springboard. Maybe my knee pads are too tight and it doesn't allow my heel to get whatever. For me, you know what? It's just not quite worth the risk. So what I'll do is I'll climb it and then do it. Boom. I take moves like that, and that's because one fuck up and I want to hang myself.
Yeah.
That's the perfection in me. back in the ECW days, learning to cut my teeth in front of a crowd that would wait for you to slip to go, you fucked up, you fucked up.
Yes,
that put a lot of pressure on me. So it's not worth fucking up if I don't need it.
It's not.
Especially if it's still very impressive anyway. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's about showing off. But RVD can handle a lot more than your average crash dummy.
A lot of people don't go into it thinking like that, though, Rob, and they'll go out there and just like me, I used to come into the ring, flip myself into the ring like Muda would do, for my entrance. And one time in Hakata Star Lanes in Japan, I did that and I landed on my ass on the canvas, and everybody laughed at me. 5,000 people laughing at me all at once.
Sure.
I never did that again. Even though I could, I didn't try it again.
Me too. I've done that exact same move. Absolutely. Yep.
Were you a babyface or a heel when you did that and you fell on your ass?
I was a babyface. It didn't matter. It was Japan. Either way.
I was gonna say, did you sell it oh damn it, and get up and kick the rope and everyone oh, I meant to do that kind of thing, so that everyone's
no.
We're laughing at you, but we're supposed to be.
No, I just looked like a jackass.
the move that I used to do that people would they'd really drop their jaw. This was before I came up with the Van Terminator. But if you threw me into the ropes, into the middle, I would jump up and stand on the top rope in the middle, and then hit a cross body back off of that. And that takes a lot. It takes a good jump and timing and balance and all that shit. And I slipped on it once. Maybe twice when I was in WCW back in 92, 93, and then I was like, all right, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that one anymore. Because when I pulled it off, it was like I wrestled Raven when he was Scotty Flamingo and Robbie V on TV, and at the end I hit my split-legged moonsault and then overshot him because I set him in too close because I was still perfecting all that shit. I'd only been working a couple of years at that point. And anyway, Larry Zbyszko was on the counter afterwards. He was like, he goes, that move that you did where you jumped up like a cat and sprung back off the top rope, well, that was more impressive than your finish. And I was like, I know. But then, I slipped on it a couple of times, and I was like, fuck it. I did that the other day when I got in the ring, by the way, and everyone in the school, no one had even fucking seen that. So I'm always surprised that, unlike other people, a lot of my moves aren't stolen yet. And I don't know if it's out of respect or if it's actually a physical
They just can't do it, Rob.
Or a little both.
Yeah.
Speaking of people stealing your moves, a lot of people on Monday Night Raw have been doing the Frog Splash. We got Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks. How do you feel about them doing the Frog Splash? Even JBL tried to name it the Bullfrog Splash when Kevin Owens does it, and then he's like, no, it's a 6-star Frog Splash. So, do you think any of them are to your caliber?
Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin. Do you think any of them are to your caliber of your Frog Splash?
I think that, I'm a little flattered to think that these guys probably were inspired watching me do the Frog Splash, watching Eddie Guerrero do the Frog Splash, and certainly out of all my moves that I've created, that are original, the split-legged moonsault, the rolling thunder, the Van Daminator, Van Terminator, those moves, I created, they were original, and a lot of them still no one else does. But, the top rope splash is something that everyone's done, for years. I used to, as a fan, I watched the Tonga Kid do it. Of course, Jimmy Snuka did it. I always try to find a way to make it my own, and it is easy for me to spin once I'm in midair and go either way, and eventually, because I got jumps, I was able and still am able to hit my opponent anywhere in the ring from any corner and then adjust. And so that may or may not make it a little unique to me. I don't know. Maybe the other guys can do that too. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, as far as someone doing a move and wanting me to be offended that they're doing my move, definitely you'd have to take something a little more personal than a move that hundreds of people have done. I'm sure Lightning Kid did a top rope splash.
I actually did a frog splash on Hakushi, and SummerSlam 95, and it was the last time I did one of those because it fucking sucked, Rob.
Everyone's rushing to the network right now to
what
check it out.
sucked about it so bad?
I
Did
used
you
to
just take
use
the wind out of you?
split-legged moonsault as my finish, and Ron Flinker, the same guy that gave me the name Rob Von Dam, he also got me my tryout. It was called a tryout, but I think I kind of pretty much already had the job with WCW in December of '92. That was when Bill Watts was there, and he told me going in, like I did the split leg moonsault, but he told me like while I was there in WCW, like he was watching me on TV, and he was saying, you need to come up with a different finishing move. He said the split-legged moonsault it's pretty, but it doesn't have enough impact. It's kind of like a soft move, and you're wrestling guys that are twice your size. You need to come up with something with a lot of impact. And so I guess I decided, you know what? I'm gonna get myself up as high as I possibly can go and come down with all the gravity and as much force and all my weight as I possibly can. Boom! That's the only way I can think of to make the most impact that I can.
And what you did that a lot, or what you still do that so many people, when they do that move, they don't do, is you sell it yourself.
Yes.
The way you sell it too, it adds so much to the effectiveness of the move. And,
people always ask me, like, how much does that really hurt? Like, that's a question that they always want to know. And, that's a touch of Sabu. Sabu used to tell me when I was training that our bodies are bullets. And so that's what, that's all we have to hit our opponent with is ourselves. And he would like always sacrifice his body in the car crash, and I got that from him. But the answer, of course, is that it's inconsistent. Everything feels inconsistent. It depends on how you were feeling prior to the match. It depends on a lot of things. By the way, when I would do it depends on how winded you are, blah blah blah. But with Big Show, and also I think Mark Henry, when I would hit the frog splash, they're lying on their back, but their stomach was so high up that when I hit, like my elbows, hands, feet, knees, they wouldn't even hit the ground. They would just be like, "Ugh!"
So they would take the brunt of the impact, huh?
As would I, yeah.
Oh, so
knock the wind out of all of us.
Okay.
Because Bigfoot, when he's lying on his back, he's still 4 feet tall. Or he was.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, you talked about Sabu a little bit there and how he put himself through quite a bit. And we've been talking about his GoFundMe page and what he's dealing with right now, needing a hip surgery.
His left hip replaced.
Yes. And you've been very vocal about that. And I guess we're going to talk about where our fans can help him on his GoFundMe page. And will you just give us an update on how he's doing?
Yeah, you guys get that info up so fans can check out the GoFundMe. So, yeah, Sabu needs hip surgery, and he really doesn't want it, of course, it would, and he really hates the idea of asking anybody for money. He hates the GoFundMe thing, but he's very fortunate to have his girlfriend, Jeannie, helping him out and helping put all this together to make it possible. He was here at my house last week. Sean, he's walking like the Sheik used to.
Yeah, and he's still working, and he's still wrestling. He's still going out and taking bookings and wrestling, and it's fucking heartbreaking, bro.
Yeah. He's telling them up front, I can barely even walk, and I think he might have to do like the Sheik used to do, and just start stabbing people in the forehead.
And you know how he is, man. Like, I mean, he's like you when it comes to, he wants to go out there and still do all of his shit for the people because they paid money to see him work. And man, it's hard for me. You see, here's the thing. Like, a lot of people just don't understand, like, what this guy is given to wrestling compared to what he's received, And to me, I think he's given more and received less than probably anybody I've ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of times, man, he's been on the bad end of a deal, and he's still, because he loves wrestling so much, he's still out there a lot of times working for shady promoters that end up stiffing him. and he ends up breaking his body down, and then like still like getting shit on, and if he's getting his pay is at least compromised. Anyway, he's had he's had some good times and some bad times, but right now he's still beat up. He needs to, besides his hip, he needs his shoulder and his back fixed, and he's still taking bookings to try to raise the money, to get everything fixed. And he's talking like with different doctors, like, and trying to figure out all the possible options, from doing it in Canada to Mexico to whatever. Because anyway, he's also always been extremely overgenerous, and that's
Exactly.
why he can't, just write a check to the hospital, because ever since my first road trips with him, he's always insisted on taking the bill, paying everyone's dinner at the
That's
table.
right.
He always wants all the wrestlers to stay in his hotel room, or when he had the Winnebago, drive everybody around. He always wants everyone to be together and be like a family, and he wants to take care. And he got that from the Sheik, because the Sheik was like that. He got a lot of what he got from the Sheik. I got a lot of what I have, from him and from the Sheik, and I recognize a lot of that. But that's one thing with Sabu. Like, I would see him, giving money to some beggar when I know Sabu's only got like $20 in his pocket. He's
right.
giving the guy $10. I'm like, dude, why'd you give that guy money? He goes, well, he doesn't have any. He's hungry. And I'm like, I know, but he's going to be asking a bunch of other people too. I mean, I was just 18 at the time, asking him, like, he's going to be asking other people too. You're not going to make any more money till tomorrow night. You just got paid $20. And I go, I know, but we'll all chip in for gas, and that'll be $5, and I'll have $5. I can get a sandwich on the way. And he was just fine with that. And he used to always tell me, especially when it would come to actual like money, like either loaning out money or spotting people. Holy crap, the thousands of dollars he's done that with. He would always say, well, hopefully it'll come back to me. I heard him say that so many times over the years. Well, hopefully it'll come back to me someday, if I'm in need. Shit, one time, he ended up, let me see how this story goes. We all showed up into town, and we were at the car place. I took off in a car that I rented, and Sabu went with me, and Sandman and Tess were in a car, and for some reason, I think they didn't have a license or something, and so Shelly Martinez put the car on her credit card, I think, and Sabu said, if you do this, then, if anything happens to the car, I'll pay for it. We're heading down the road, and Sandman calls, oh, fuck, holy shit, oh my God, there's blood everywhere, holy fuck, I gotta call you back. And Sabu's freaking out, and I'm like, dude, he's ribbing you, because the car that they're driving is your responsibility. You told Shell you'd pay for it. He's ribbing you. He goes, oh, okay, thank God. They call back a few minutes later. Oh, my God, dude, we hit a fucking deer. It's fucking, oh, my God, dude, we're fucked. The car is fucked. Where you at? And I'm trying to tell Sabu, dude, he's ribbing. There's no way. And they were ahead of us. So pretty soon we pulled up, and there's blood everywhere, and the car was fucked. And Sabu had to pay like $30,000 out of his pocket or something for the car, and explain that to his wife, that he gave Shelly Martinez $30,000.
Oh, shit. And Hitomi, his
I might
wife...
have the amount wrong. He said 30 at the time, but I think... recently, I think he's lowered it to 20 when he tells the story.
Either way, man, like that's him, and that's what he did. And I just a quick story of like back in 2002 when I first came out here to LA. He was out here, him, Jerry Lynn, and several other independent wrestlers, and the promoter stiffed everybody, and they had a one-way ticket out here. And Sabu took money out of his own pocket, and like all his money, all the money he had to get everybody home. And and I was supposed to meet him for dinner, and he wouldn't meet with me. And later on, he told me that he was embarrassed because he didn't have money to buy me dinner. And that was a real, man, to know that I didn't get a chance to see him over that. I mean, it sucked, but like it was just like, man.
Was that the show that was supposed to have Super Dragon versus American Dragon versus Ultimo Dragon, and then like the guy never booked the venue, and there were like wrestlers just sitting outside waiting to wrestle at a venue that never been booked?
Yeah.
Like and like I think Masawa is like out there just chopping people. Like fans are like, I'll buy your shirt if you chop, like I'll pay for you to chop me. And he's like, cool, I need to make money. And he's just chopping fans and selling shirt. And like literally there's like a locker room of wrestlers and fans just waiting outside this venue that was supposed to have this amazing show that never happened.
You remember that tour we did in Ireland and all over Europe with, was it for AWR, the Irish company? Remember that?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, remember, and so we're in Belfast, and it's a tag match, and it's Rob and I versus Sabu, and I forget who the hell else was. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm missing my ACL in my right knee, and I have to tape my right knee up, and so I taped it up too tight, and so I got drop foot. Anyways, I'm going to dive to the floor, and my right leg doesn't work, so I burble over the top rope. My head bounced. Some dipshit put metal steps on the middle of the apron, like in the middle of the ring, instead of toward the corners. And so I hit these steps, and my head bounced up every rung of the steps. And I ended up, I ended up with this huge get. You could even still see it when you look in the back of my head. And I never went to the hospital and got it stitched up. And it was brutal looking. I mean, it was brutal looking. The actual dive itself. It was. If I wouldn't have been, if I wasn't so busy like thinking about my head being hurt, my feelings would have been really hurt and embarrassed.
Did Sabu super glue you?
No, he didn't. And it might have helped if he would have, because I ended up with staph infection by the time I got home from that. Remember we were standing outside that McDonald's drive-through, standing in our wrestling gear. I mean, it was
fuck yeah! Yep. You're talking about. No, I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, I thought that was for the Axel, the Portuguese promoter.
No, that was actually, you know what it was? It was that same promoter that we worked for in Korea when we had that great match.
Okay, that makes sense.
No, I keep saying that to Rob all the time, because one time Rob was sure he and I had this match in Korea. Yeah. That was really good, and I would have been great, except for I've never been to Korea. You know what? I'm going to end up going back and finding out I was in Korea once and just didn't fucking realize it.
When you do, I will be forgiven.
I will apologize to you with a hat in hand if I ever find that out, Rob.
All will be forgiven. I think Scotty Too Hottie actually one time came up and talked about that same match, though. I think it might have been possibly. I think he might have said that was him, maybe. Two against one. Who am I to argue? It was a hell of a match. I know that much.
Well, going back to Sabu for a second and his generosity, I've been dying all week to ask you, Sean and Rob, your opinion on this. Do you think that's a situation where someone like a Vince McMahon or a Paul Heyman should open up his wallet, make a big donation? Obviously, they can't do that for everybody, but what do you think about that?
For my opinion is, like, if they feel compelled to do so, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, that's tough. It's tough. It depends on the point of view you're coming at it with. I mean, I don't expect anybody to do shit for me personally. I mean, I have stuff. I need surgery like right now. Yeah. And I don't expect anybody. It would be nice though. It would be a really nice thing to do, Vince.
I think I would see Paul Heyman doing that before Vince, because I mean, like, Sabu really helped put ECW on the map and his style of wrestling, and like making ECW what it was, so I would think Paul Heyman should be the one before. Like, granted, Sabu wrestled for Vince and did stuff for Vince too, and jumping off the R at Raw and whatnot, but I would think Paul Heyman should step up and be like, yeah, man, for all your years and all the things you've done, like, here, I got you.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Rob?
Well, I kind of feel like Sean might have a similar view as me. Like, who am I to say that somebody else should feel a certain way? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have those feelings about anybody. I can't say that somebody should want to do this or feel like doing this. And if they wanted to help out, then it would be, I think, above and beyond the Call of Duty. I think it would be like extremely generous. And on top of that, we're independent contractors, so like whenever the conversation over the years has come up about, oh, wrestlers don't have insurance, it should be mandatory that wrestlers get covered with insurance. I've always felt like, we're independent contractors. We make our own deals, and whenever wrestlers have asked me to like join the bandwagon, I can't because I understand business.
Yeah.
And I ask them, would you rather, if you're signing a deal, would you rather have insurance included, or would you rather they give you more money and then you get your own insurance and take care of yourself? They always say, well, I'd rather take care of myself and get more money. I mean, I'm sure 100 people wouldn't do that. Wouldn't say that if I asked 100 people. I've asked several wrestlers, and anyway. I don't think that I think that Paul and that Vince, fulfill their obligations. ECW went bankrupt. Everyone knows that. But people are still like, dude, doesn't Paul still owe you all that money? No, he doesn't. That's not the way that bankruptcy works. He's been cleared of all debt. That money that I was owed is not still coming. You know what I mean? Right. And I understand that. That's it's all in the wording. So I think if Vince or if Paul, even contributed or whatever, that would be extremely generous. And then at that point, to what extent, that would be up to them as well.
Do you think that with the way things are now, with like the medical clearance and like back when you were wrestling, you said like if we were hurt, we still wrestled because we needed to get paid. Now they pull you out of action because they don't want that to happen. You think that they should make a rule that like, no, you don't have the option to choose more money or insurance. Everyone's paying for insurance, kind of thing.
Other occupations require that.
When people are talking about wrestling, with this conversation, they also usually, it's like they're overlooking the fact that there's like one company that that owns wrestling. There's a couple of small ones, but I always ask this. Okay, so are you saying like if there's a mandatory rule that okay, boom, you have to cover your own or you have to take ours? Who would have to apply? Everyone that applies for a wrestling promoter license, all the way down to the Troutman, North Carolina State Fair that runs once a year, or are you specifically only talking about Vince? And again, that's relevant because besides that, what else is there? I mean, there's a couple of smaller groups that have some limited exposure compared to WWE, but basically it's one company. So it's like if you want to set any mandates on just him and his corporation, that's a lot more localizing of the problem, isn't it?
And who would be setting these mandates anyways? I mean, we have no players association and or anything like that would say there's no pro wrestling state athletic sanctioned department,
But like you said, everyone looks for WWE to be like the end all be all, so they all copy that. So maybe if Vince did do that, maybe like TNA and Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground would be like, oh, okay, maybe we should follow that suit, kind of thing.
And the suit would be what? To say that we're going to give you less money and we're going to get group insurance for you?
Something like that, or just like,
well. So what if I don't like the insurance? What if I'm like, hey, wait a minute, it doesn't cover my prescriptions, or I had a better dental plan. I can get a better dental plan, for less money on my own, or hey, it doesn't even cover optical for my kids, and my kid needs new glasses because he's a peeping Tom and he hurt his eyes on the binoculars looking in the neighbor's window.
When I worked for Vince McMahon, I had no problem, easy for me to say, setting up my own 401k and my own medical. When you're working for Vince, you usually making enough money to do those things. So I myself feel like I got my shit pretty well together. That's why I don't work very much, because I don't have to. A lot of guys that we know have to work like twice a week still, and that's all they know how to do is wrestle, and that is more like the guy they made the movie about, but that's definitely not everybody, and that's just, it's a business. I like to do a lot of other business, and I like to not wrestle, and that's why, and any promoters should know if they're thinking,
Oh, cool. He's taking bookings, man. I'm gonna find out. I hope he says how to get a hold of him. Most likely, it's not gonna work out. You know what I mean? I'm not looking. I don't look for work. I haven't looked for work like the longest time. I called Hunter when I made my return to WWE in 2013. TNA was dragging their feet on producing this contract that we talked about, and I went to Hall of Fame and I saw everybody, and so I ended up, calling Hunter and saying, hey, what's going on there? And besides that call, I don't think I've made a call to look for work in like several years. I can't remember the last time, and I get offers all the time, but I'm very selective about it. And so, when people are emailing me talking about, I run Johnny's Car Lot Wrestling in Mississippi, and we've had Bad Boy, Bill Black, and we've had such big stars as Texas Timmy. I'd love to have you come in. I mean, I don't respond to those guys, but I'm also not looking to work because I don't want to work. And so I've had like 5 matches this year, and that's plenty. I got 2 more on the books, and I have very high standards. That's why you don't see me out there, because not very many promoters can do business at that level, and that's absolutely what works out great for me. And part of that is knowing how to structure and having people help you to take care of business and your assets and money that comes in. By the way, when you get your own insurance, you don't necessarily probably tell them that you're a pro wrestler, do you?
You're an entertainer.
Definitely not. Well, we want to kind of wrap up with you a little bit, Rob, and just ask you some final questions. And you're talking about how you spend your time. And I know that you spend some of your time with Miss Katie Lords, who is a gorgeous young lady. She's a fitness model and a wrestler as well.
Katie Forbes. Don't make her into a porn star.
Oh.
Did you just say Lords?
Oh, did I? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Katie. A big fan, I swear. Well, I'm wondering, Rob, do you go and check her out when she's wrestling? Did you go see her at WOW, or what do you think?
Yeah, WOW has a big show on September 29th. And it's a TV taping in downtown LA at the Belasco Theater. So they just started back up after being absent for seems like 6 years or something. And this is going to be their big show that they're building towards. And they've had a couple of what the Dave McLean says is pop-up shows, he calls them.
Is Dave McLean the one that's running WOW?
If I got the name right, it's David.
The one
that invented that and invented Glow.
He invented Glow, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, Genie Bus is behind it as well.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, they do a few like pop-up shows where the ring is set up, and I have gone there to support and saw her wrestle. And I am going on the 29th too. But Dave McLean invented Glow, and I guess he had a falling out or something with the partner, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know what happened there, but then he started WOW. And they've both been gone forever, and they're both coming back at the exact same time, and it's weird because there are no coincidences. But Glow sold 12 or 13 episodes of a scripted series, like a sitcom, to Netflix. So what they're doing is totally different, and with what WOW is doing is, I guess, more like Glow used to be, like with a combination of vignettes and wrestling, and the rest remains to be seen.
I actually just read for a part in that new Netflix Glow series that's coming out.
Yeah, and Awesome Kong has a part. Chavo Guerrero Jr. is the wrestling coordinator over there, so hey, I won't be surprised.
Well, maybe I'll see you over at the WOW show. It's this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's this weekend.
September 29th, 6 to 10 at the Belasco Theater in 1050 Hill Street, Los Angeles, California.
All right.
Rob,
well, go check out Katie Forbes, and Rob will be there too.
Rob,
you can follow me on all the social media at The Real RVD. And by the way, what else was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. Dude, I was holding together the whole conversation. Oh, I was going to say
you were going to pump up your PCW.
Yeah. I'll make sure you, plug Sabu's GoFundMe page if you could.
100%. Yeah, we're definitely.
We'll tweet out
That's
that
like
link,
half the reason that I asked you to come on, Rob. The other half is just because I knew you were going to be a great guest, and I'm a huge fan of yours as a human being and wrestler. So, Rob, I appreciate you coming on, man. And
isn't that crazy? Like we both live in LA and like we never see each other.
Well, look, I mean, it's like I said to you, or like I said, like I texted you, like, okay, you're in Redondo. I'm like, we're in North Hollywood right now, so it's not gonna offend me if you want to Skype in. So, because that's
if you don't want to sit in 2 hours of traffic to come here.
Yeah, it's a long ass drive, but. So maybe I'll see you this weekend.
We're in Redondo, but let's not tell everybody my address.
Oh shit! I meant.
Now we'll just flash it up on the screen.
I meant Riverside. Anyways, hey Rob, thank you so much for your time and patience, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Right on, dude. Enjoyed the chat. Good luck with the show.
Oh, thanks.
And let me know when I can repost the link to my millions and millions of followers.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll send it out to you. The show will be up actually in a few hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Thanks, Rob.
Right on.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man.
Bye
Great chat.
bye. All right, and we will be right back with a little bit more X-Pac 12360 on AfterBuzz TV.
What's up, party people? Roxy Stryer here from The Tomorrow Show with Keven Undergaro. We're your twice-weekly broadcast of one man's midlife crisis and the mad millennials in Star Trek uniforms that follow him.
And I'm one of those millennials, Lauren Magrasso here. We've had some amazing guests like Russell Simmons, Ileana Douglas, and Craig Gass. Coolio, right?
Christian Blatt in the house to tell you to go to thetomorrowshow.com to check us out. We're live every Monday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern. That's thetomorrowshow.com. Be there or be square, whatever that means.
Welcome back to X-Pac 12360. We just had a little chat with RVD, and man, I gotta tell you, I think the story that we heard was the best that we have had thus far on this show about the signing with Rob Van Dam. With
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
With Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, I think that's my favorite X-Pac 12360 story thus far.
I thought you were going to talk about the Somas and the cereal. I thought you were going to bring that up again. I was like,
That was juicy too.
It was funny.
Gotta have my pops.
Now it's funny because nobody died, but.
Well, right, and just to get his and your perspective on Sabu and to hear again what he's given to the fans and what he's going through, man, I wanted to get on my phone right now and hit that GoFundMe page.
I already did.
Yeah.
When they first started it, I already did mine. So.
Well, I got to tell all the fans once again, they can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/XPac12360, where we've posted the link. You can go ahead and help Sabu out. Also, make sure you are posting your questions there for our next week's guest. That's also where you can check and find out who our next week's guest will be. And post your questions for Sean as well on Facebook or on Twitter and Instagram using hashtag XPac12360. We will be checking those out and reading them on air next week. In the meantime, you guys can always hit me up about anything else, XPac12360 related or not. You know I love the pro wrestling juicy scoop, whatever stories you want to hear the deets on. Hit me up at Christy Reports on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And Jimbo Slice, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Jimbo in the Booth. Buy my documentary, The Young Bucks' Too Sweet Journey, at highspots.com. And yeah, Sean, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at TheRealXPac. My Instagram that I'm still getting used to is just at RealXPac. Because somebody else stole The Real X-Pac on Twitter.
Yeah, I have a hard time finding you to tag you in our Instagram, which is XPac12360.
Makes me so mad.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see you next week right here on XPac12360.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, Keven Undergaro, producer Jimbo Frank, me, Christy Olson, the managing editor of AfterBuzz TV's Pro Wrestling News Division, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in.